Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tire Talk podcast. We've had a week off. We thought we'd take some time out of the game. Rest, come back stronger. But so, first of all, Dan, how you doing, mate?
All right, not too bad. Uh, got some sleep schedule recovery to do now after that, but I'm all right, yeah.
What about you, mate? What about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Uni work. Half, half, I haven't really touched it. It's still, it's still piling up on me, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. How are you,
Well, the
Joe?
deadlines
How
are
are
coming
you?
up. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. As people watching may have noticed, or even you probably hear, we're all in different settings this week. We're not in the studio. It is the Easter holiday. Finally, we had an extra week of uni, which the other university in Liverpool didn't have. Bit frustrated about that, but we moved. But it's nice to get away from everything and get back to some Formula One. Um, so yeah, should we jump straight into it? I guess.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of talking points, and my first talking point is the red flags, which ultimately defined what happened in the race, really. So we'll talk about the first red flag with Albon. The commentators weren't necessarily deciding on whether it should have been a red flag. So, Dan, do you want to describe what happened?
Well, Albon, he was having a good race actually. I think he was in sixth or seventh,
Yeah,
and
P6.
he just lost it, went straight through the gravel, and smashed into the barrier. And yeah, and then sort of came back on track, nearly collected Hulk, didn't he, when he went
Mm,
past, which was quite scary from the onboard. And then yeah, they had to. Well, I kind of understand the red flag because they had to clear the debris up, but could have
yeah,
been a safety car.
for me, I do think that's a red flag because they had to get a proper truck onto the track
Yeah, I
to
was
to clear
thinking
away
that.
the car, and there was
Yeah.
gravel all over. So there was a lot of work to be done on the track.
My problem with it was they waited, they did a couple laps of safety car, and then it ruined George's and Sainz race because they
Yeah,
pitted under the safety car, and then it went to
I,
red.
I think it caught out Gasly and Magnussen and a couple of other drivers as well. I think maybe one of the Alpha Tauris as well, who weren't even having a fantastic race anyway. But at that point, it caught out everyone. And I think, yeah, for me, that has to be a red flag. Matty, do you want to talk us through the second red flag, obviously, towards the end of the race?
But Magnussen losing his tire.
Yes.
Well, he hit the wall. His tire just came off.
Yeah. It's quite dramatic, wasn't it?
Was that a red flag? I know it was a red flag, but like, was it a red flag
No, it
though?
wasn't. I don't think it
Because
should have been.
he could have
Was
easily
there
just
reasoning just that they were like tight,
there was a
that there
tire
was
on the
debris on
track,
track?
weren't he? Just the tires
Yeah.
just sitting on the track.
My thing with that is that even if they didn't, they could have virtual safety card it, and then when there was a gap, just run on and took the tire off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
That
think
is
that
very
I don't think it was
dangerous,
a
though,
red
isn't it?
flag.
The second one, I
Like
don't think
the
was.
tire wasn't on the racing line, though, was it? It was just
No,
They're not.
it's still dangerous. They had to get rid of it, but they didn't need to red flag it.
Yeah, it did seem a bit over the top. I've seen a lot of people are saying that it's a bit of a coincidence that as soon as Massey returns to the paddock, there's last lap controversy.
Yeah,
no, Joe, red flag. Yeah, I've got a question. Joe, should F1 change the tire rule under the red flag?
Whether they can change the tires.
Yeah,
What do you think that they shouldn't be allowed to change their tires?
no, it just there's arguments for and against it. Like they shouldn't be able to change
Yeah,
tires, but then they should be able to change tires. I just want your thoughts on it.
for me, I would say that I think that I like how you get to change tires because it's a red flag. If you take your car to the pit and you're there for ages, it seems like a bit of a waste. Your tires they're getting cold and they're used up anyway. And there would have been some people who might have pitted anyway. I think it just gives everyone a bit. It puts everyone on the same sort of pedestal. Everyone has a chance to put new tires on, whether you've just pitted or whether you haven't. And I guess that's part of the gamble as well, isn't it? At Australia, there were just so many crashes, so many incidents. Um, and sometimes teams got to gamble on that. I suppose. What do you think?
I think keep it the same. I think F1 are changing
Yeah,
too many rules.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's nothing wrong if you pit under the safety car before there's a red flag. That's the risk in it. It's your own fault.
mm,
But keep it the same. I think F1 there's something about like changing rules that don't need to be changed. Like they've banned what mechanics climbing the fence now to stop you
Yeah,
from
no, that's
yeah.
selling.
ridiculous.
Why change
Well,
that?
I think
That made
I think that's
some unbelievable pictures.
No, but
unnecessarily.
I think people are forgetting actually and are overreacting a little bit. And when I first heard that, I was very angry. I was actually talking to Dan when I found out about it. But it's not actually as drastic as people think, because the only difference now is that instead of, you're not allowed to poke your head through the like gaps in the fence to celebrate. You're still allowed to go on the fence, I'm pretty sure, but you're just not allowed to poke your head through it, which some of the, like hang out and then cheer like that. I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore. So it's still not that bad. And I actually do kind of get it, because you do have to change the rules before something happens. Sometimes you can't always wait until a big accident happens. And also, I guess at the end of the day, it's not that deep, really, is it? They still get to celebrate. It's a
No,
bit
but like, you
frustrating,
see
but
some of the pictures of like
yeah.
just Rex it.
Aren't they talking
Yeah,
about taking out the free practice sessions?
Yeah.
yeah.
Dan, do you
I
want to walk
don't
us
That's
through
think
out
take,
that?
now, though.
I don't think take like they shouldn't take away three of them. Maybe
Mm.
like keep one, take away two. Like
I just
I
don't
think
see why
three
they
might
There's
be a
wouldn't.
bit
nothing
too
wrong with
much.
that. There's nothing wrong with the current format of Formula One.
Yes, I
It's
agree. I
working.
agree.
I don't understand why they'd want to change it. Well, I know why they want to
Mm.
change it, because they want something happening on every day, don't they? And
Mm.
Mm.
nothing happens on a Friday usually, unless it's a sprint weekend. But
Mm.
it's working, and it makes the races, like, it would make it more dangerous if they didn't have the free
Yeah,
practice, because no one,
time to
they
prepare.
don't know how to set the car up
Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah. No, I agree. Actually, it goes back to the age old saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they just seem to be trying to fix everything that just
It's like that
is
in most
fine as it
sports
is.
though, isn't it? Most sports you just try and change
Yeah.
like stuff that just don't need to be touched. Just keep it the way it is.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
problems in Formula One that need addressing before the free practice system.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Like Red Bull spending 20 million on catering. But that's another issue now.
Like that food
um,
must be lovely though, you know.
it better be good food for 20 mil, or whatever it is. We'll go on to the second talk point I've got, which is Mercedes. Are Mercedes back? It's a simple question. They were very fast. They earned their spot. In second, they were the second fastest car ultimately in quali. Um, Thoughts, basically. Dan, you go first.
Um, I think it's track dependent, to be honest, because they did it a
Okay.
few times last year, didn't they? And Red Bull seemed to, like, well, Perez had a nightmare session. He couldn't get his car
Yeah,
sorted, and they're quick. They're not as slow as they like to make out that they are. They are up there. I
yeah,
think they're faster than
yeah,
Ferrari at the minute. But
I think everyone's faster
to
than
say
them.
to say that they're back is a bit far. They had a good race, but
yeah.
on most tracks, I still think Aston are quicker than them.
Okay. Do we think that without the red car, the red flag, sorry, Russell could have gone on to win the race?
No, because
Well,
then you went on
his
fire.
car exploded. His
Okay,
engine went
and barring that,
engine went boom.
But imagine there wasn't the red flag. He pits for the hard tire and goes the whole race with Lewis behind him, and then Lewis defending Max. Do we think George could have built up a good enough lead, or do you think he would have been
No,
diminished pretty quickly?
I'll put it to you this way: before the final red flag, I think were there two restarts before the final red flag. Well, I think was it two safety cars and one
Yes.
restart.
Yeah.
Two safety cars and one restart, and still, despite that, before the final red flag, Max had a 10-second lead.
Yeah. It
So
is.
they've
It
been
is
bunched up
scary how
three
fast the Red
times.
Bull
Yeah, so
is.
they've been
no,
bunched up three times, and he still had a 10-second lead anyway.
that Red Bull
Yeah.
straight line speed it's just different class to
It's
anyone.
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's
It's just
ridiculous.
unbelievable. You could argue that he might have had a chance of winning, but that Red Bull car is just
It's
hunts you
I think
ridiculous.
down.
he cares a lot more about beating Lewis. I think because as soon as he got into the lead, he was straight away on the radio, wasn't he? Bickering with the team about, should I
Yeah.
manage? Should I let Lewis go? I don't want to
Do
let
you
Well,
reckon
Lewis go.
that's because Lewis is the
Yeah,
best Formula One driver, so he
yeah,
just
he
wants
wants to
to,
be the best.
yeah.
he wants
I
to
mean,
assert himself, well, doesn't he, on the team?
yeah. Has Russell outqualified Lewis 3 times now?
Yep.
We're in times for Hamilton, I guess. What do you think the issue is? Do you think he's just not as fast as George?
I
That's
think George has
controversial.
got more to prove.
I think George is. I don't know. He's always been good over one lap, hasn't he, Russell?
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever been a problem for him. That's one of his specialties. But when it comes to managing a race, I still back Lewis over him.
yeah, no, I buy that as well. So with Mercedes picking up the pace in Australia, whether they're going to hold that or not, we don't know. Does that necessarily take away from Aston Martin still being very fast? I think we're sort of forgetting that they were one of the slower cars last year, and they've come in and they look like a consistently. I know we've only seen 3 races, but a consistently fast car this year. Um, but what are we thinking?
We
Alonso
did.
qualified P3 again.
Just going back to Lewis v Russell. You're saying Russell will
Okay.
qualify Lewis 3 times this season. Well, obviously it's been 3 races, 3 times. Don't forget though, Lewis Hamilton is still ahead of him in the driving standing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can't forget
that
about
is.
that.
He did DNF though, didn't he,
Yeah,
Russell?
Yeah. It does
but you
seem a bit
can't
unfair.
you can't forget about it. Just put it out
Yeah,
there.
we'll see. We'll see at the end of the season.
Sorry, Joe. Ask
I
your
think it'll be
question again.
close.
Do apologise.
No, fair enough. That's right. Go back to it again then. Aston Martin, good pace, good qualifying, ultimately good race pace as well. Alonso qualifying P3 and finishing there as well. Can Aston Martin challenge for second in the Constructors' Championship, do you think?
I think so.
I don't.
Really?
I reckon when Mercedes start getting upgrades and teams that like Ferrari and all that, I reckon they'll slow down. If you get me, I know
The,
Aston Martin will get upgrades as well, but I think Mercedes might just beat them to that second place.
they can definitely challenge it though. I think they've got
Yeah,
a baseline
100%.
car that's been quick at 3 very different tracks. They're all different, aren't they? Jeddah, Baku, and well, not Jeddah, Bahrain, and Australia. They're all very
Yeah,
different, and they've been consistently quick in every track. So I don't
yeah,
see why they can't challenge. They've got a very good baseline car. They've got more wind tunnel time than anyone else.
that's a good
So
point.
and so as long as they continue to bring upgrades, I think they've got one coming in Baku, haven't they?
Mm,
So we'll see how that gets them.
But look
yeah,
at Ferrari.
I think they
okay.
should be.
Last season, Ferrari, Leclerc was fucking world champion 5 races into the season. You know what I mean? Everyone was
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone was singing his
but
praise and all that. Then they fell off. So I'm just. I think Stroll might let the team down to second place.
okay. He's not been too bad so far this
No,
season, though,
no.
realistically.
But I just
he was
think
quite fortunate this week, wasn't he, Lance Stroll?
Yeah.
He did finish fourth, but I feel like that didn't really reflect his performance. He was
What do you
because
think
he
is
couldn't get
fortunate,
past.
so?
He was fortunate because he couldn't get past Gasly at all,
Yeah,
and obviously Sainz the penalty promoted him another place after that. He would have
yeah,
yeah,
finished sixth if the last restart didn't happen, basically.
them
yeah,
red flags
yeah,
helped a load of drivers out. If you'd ask me,
Yeah,
it helped loads. Like
yeah,
going on to your next point, Joe. McLaren.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So obviously McLaren have had a very tough start to the season. A couple of very poor performances. Not really. Have they got any points on the board before this weekend? No.
No.
But a very very strong showing today. Well, yeah, it was today, wasn't it? Obviously Norris P6 and Piastri P8. I think that's a fantastic result. Obviously there were 8 DNFs, which is a astounding number to be honest. But basically, just want to see what you're thinking, boys. Matty, why don't you go first? You got a McLaren hat in the background as well. I want to see it.
That's only because I got it. I got it for free. I didn't buy it. But I've got 2 caps. Sorry, Joe. Yeah, I did. I did buy. I did this cap.
Oh,
Not giving it, but this is my team.
whoa.
We'll talk about them later.
That's my
We'll have
team.
to
Nah,
go into
but
our feed.
just like there's been 8 DNFs in that race. That's how many points Lando Norris got that race. Fun fact for you there.
Yeah,
Right. I think.
mad that.
I think they got lucky with the DNFs.
Yeah,
I still don't think the car is the McLaren car that we all know and love. It's
yeah.
great.
I mean,
It's great to see Piastri getting points on the board.
yeah.
His first
That's his
point
first points,
race
isn't it? Yeah,
in his
at home as
hometown.
well. Yeah,
It's good to see Norris getting his 2023 season started, and
yeah,
hopefully they can build from there. But I see next race. What is it, Baku? I can
mm,
see them falling out of the point places again. I can't. I think there's like a fluke for McLaren this race. They got
yeah.
lucky.
It does seem that way, but you still have to be there to pick up the points. And
But like
Norris did make some great moves,
they've just
which
got
we'll get into
good
in a minute as
reaction
well.
time, just dodging everything.
That is what good driving is, to be fair.
Yeah, true. Not really though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
part of it.
They went from after this race, they were bottom of the constructors, weren't they? And they're up to fifth now. They're above Alpine as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, I mean Norris
They're
said
the best of the rest, aren't they?
Yeah, at the moment, somehow.
I'm not sure if they'll keep that going. I think they were very lucky, especially with Alpine, who we may as well get onto now. Whose fault was it?
God.
Gasly's or Ocon?
Dan called it. You know, if you watch our prediction episode back, Dan did say
Yeah,
that Alpines were just crashing into each other.
yeah.
Well done.
Whose
To be
fault
fair
do you
to
think it
them,
was?
I think it was a majority on Gasly
Yeah,
because Ocon couldn't go
He was
anywhere.
the one on the left, wasn't he? He was the one on the left.
Yeah,
Ocon was
Yeah.
like in the sandwich.
Yeah.
And
Although I heard
he was
that,
having such a good race as well. Gasly, wasn't he? He was doing so well.
He was running in fourth for a while, wasn't he?
He was running behind Sainz the whole race in fifth, and that would have been a fantastic result for them. And then it just felt a bit in one freak moment.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that, and obviously you called it as well. Obviously, their relationship hasn't been great before they both became Alpine teammates, and apparently they weren't very fond. They weren't very fond of each other in the younger leagues as well of racing. Although I did hear Ocon said in his post-race interview that Gasly did go and apologise to him because he did appreciate that it was his fault. So maybe looking forward for Alpine. The car's fast. Where do you think they'll finish in the championship? Any thoughts on changing where they're going to finish, or
fifth.
because they would have been in for a big points haul today?
Fifth,
when the midfield's as tight as it is, you can't be throwing away points like that because they were quick this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, none of them got penalised. Well, Gasly didn't get penalised, did he? He got let off. No penalty or nothing.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a bit harsh because the penalties, both the cars are out of the race anyway.
I think that restart was just like the race was just chaos itself.
Chaos, yeah.
Yeah, because it was the final 2 laps, and everyone thought, "Oh my god, I could get a place or 2 here if I do well."
I know only 12 cars as well.
I know, it's
is that true? That's not true actually. Sorry,
there was 14. I think there was 14 on the final start.
So who else
would have been
DNF'd
16 actually. Never mind.
in that final.
Albon. In the final.
There was Sonoda and Sargent. Sorry, De Vries and Sargent.
Logan Sargent DNF'd.
And then
both Alpines.
Alonso got spanned, didn't he?
But he was fine in the end, and he had that place.
Perez
I think it was just them 6.
Yeah,
it was just them 6.
And Stroll went straight on as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Stroll got caught in the gravel, didn't
he? So does that mean like someone else then? Because there are 8 DNFs in total. So we've got Albon, Leclerc, De Vries, Sargent,
Russell,
Magnussen.
Magnussen. Oh yes, yeah.
He crashed early, didn't he?
Magnussen. Yeah, and obviously the 2 Alpines.
That was the reason why the Alpines crashed because Magnussen got a red flag.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned him quickly then. Ferrari, another dismal weekend for them. It's just not going to plan, is it? Leclerc off in the first 3 corners, wasn't it? Got spun by Stroll.
It did seem unlucky though, because it didn't necessarily seem like the car was bad. They just got caught up in the mayhem, which isn't necessarily their fault.
It always seems to happen to them, doesn't it? It's always Ferrari that it happens to.
No, but it's always Leclerc though.
Yeah.
It's like, I know Sainz got unlucky with his 5-second penalty, but it's all like all the problems. It's always Leclerc. I feel so bad for him because he
and they had a quick card
to be a world champion.
They had the quick card, didn't they? Because there was a point in the second stint where Sainz put on the mediums, was it? And he was just absolutely flying up the field, wasn't he? Because he got stiff by the safety car. I think he was 11th, and then he got up to 5th, and he was catching. And we were like, okay, he's. And so there was obviously some pace there, but obviously Leclerc never got to show it because he got strolled.
Yeah.
What's next for Leclerc? What is next for him after the season? Where does he go? Does he stay at Ferrari?
Go to Mercedes, according to Dan.
Yeah, do it, Charles. Every race that passes, that looks more.
It does actually genuinely look more and more likely. I don't think it will ever happen, but
no.
I guess it all depends on whether Lewis retires. Just quickly.
How many points did he get in? Isn't he behind Norris in the championship now?
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Is it?
Leclerc.
Because he got.
on
Yeah, he finished
6
seventh
points.
in Jeddah and he's DNF the other two, and Norris finished sixth,
Oh
didn't
my,
they? So yeah, he's behind
that's so
Norris.
bad.
Hulkenberg is ahead of him as well.
And I'll just quickly catch up people who didn't get to watch the race on the incident that happened with Leclerc. So it was the first lap, and he was trying to make an overtake on Lance Stroll. And he said in his post-race interview that he wasn't actually planning to make the overtake, but he saw Alonso, and he saw that because of Alonso being on Stroll's right, that he'd have to slow down. So he thought he'd put himself on the outside and try and go around him. But then he didn't say this, but effectively he didn't really give Stroll enough space, meaning that Stroll just had to. There was nowhere for him to go, and he spun out Leclerc, put him in the gravel trap. And he said actually that he had no hard feelings towards Stroll because he realised that there was nothing he could do. But yeah, that was the situation with Leclerc, second DNF, 3 races. Interesting,
World
interesting
champion,
scenes.
2023. Then that happened to Max.
I would like to go back once again, race by race, episode by episode, to Dan predicting Ferrari winning the Constructors' World Championship. I don't think it's worth leaving out.
The remontada is happening.
Are they going to come back? Are they this season?
No, it doesn't look like that. But even second will be an achievement at this point for them, I think, because
I think
they're so up against it.
I'll tell you what though, that Australian track's so tight, isn't it?
It is
So narrow, and the cars are so big.
But it gave
What
us
are
a
your
great
thoughts
race.
on? Yeah, what are your thoughts on the 4 DRS zones that they have there? Is that too much? Do you reckon?
Nah, because you want to see
I
racing,
don't mind
don't
it.
you? You watch racing to watch cars race.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah, but
quote
when
for
they're
you.
going,
There's a quote.
Get
Michael Owen, now. Michael Owen
You
quote
watch
there.
racing to watch cars race. That is just gorgeous.
No, but you don't want to see the same people just in the same position going round and round. You want to see
yeah,
fighting.
but it should be overtaking should be a challenge. And when you've got Perez who can just open his DRS 4 times and steam past everyone.
Yeah, but you could say that defending should be a challenge as well. And I guess
it should, but getting past the car should be harder than defending. Because Perez should have had to pay for the mistake he made in qualifying. Because he got up to 5th because the 4 DRS zones, and as soon as he got up to the back of any car, he's passed it on the run into turn 9.
Yeah, you can say the DRS zones helped him, but also the car that he's driving, also.
Yeah, and that is down to that is part of it is the constructors making a good car, obviously.
Yeah. But I just think it's a bit excessive having 4.
4, yeah, that is a lot. I'm assuming that's the most.
How about none? Hey Dan, how about none? You want that?
That's what they want, though, isn't it? Because they want to eventually phase DRS out. So having a track with 4 DRS
another rule that doesn't need to be touched.
See, I'm for that though.
Why?
Because if they get up to a point where the cars can follow each other and they don't need the DRS anymore, then the overtakes will be a lot better because they're not just driving past because they've got the rear wing open. They'll actually have to use racing skill and beat them in the braking zone instead of.
I think we'll just.
And it adds more jeopardy, I think. Then. Yeah, but is it exciting watching Perez drive past someone in a straight line, or is it more exciting watching dive bomb someone in a corner?
Yeah, but think about the battles we've had between last season, Leclerc and Verstappen. Without DRS, Bahrain, sorry, without DRS, that would have been a nothing battle. That would have been absolutely nothing. But the fact we had DRS, so they kept on getting past each other at the straights, I think that was brilliant. And without DRS, that didn't happen. And ultimately, you watch these sports to be entertained, and that's where the entertainment comes from half the time.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
I want them to have to work for the overtake though, because when eventually they do get past, it makes it more like wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think we would just see so few overtakes, like so much less overtakes.
That's what the cars are designed for. They're the new ones, so you can follow easier. So as long as they keep progressing the way they are.
Yeah. I mean, you touched briefly on Perez there. Shall we go on to Red Bull dominated again?
We did. Can we hang on for a minute?
Okay.
On Ferrari.
Yeah.
Was that 5-second penalty on Sainz fair or unfair?
Oh, I think that was so harsh.
I think that was unfair because they reset the thing anyway, so it's like it didn't happen. So why did they give him a penalty for it?
I see people complain. They gave him a penalty for a lap that didn't exist.
Yeah,
the lap didn't take place.
He was sounded like he was going to cry on the radio. He sounded like he was going to cry on the radio.
In the interview at the end, he's like, "I don't want to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking."
Yeah, he's like so angry. I can't even talk about it.
But do you get fined if you don't speak to the media?
I've never seen him that angry. He's usually quite laid back, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's so harsh. Like, there's just no need. Like, there's just absolutely no
It's a
need.
racing incident on the first corner of a restart. I feel like it's
And the
Yeah, we
lap
were
if they
two
let
laps
and the
ago.
lapses.
if they let Gasly's go, they should have let that go.
Yeah,
Mm.
oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, although I guess the difference between that is that Gasly's was on his own teammate, but it still just feels really harsh for Sainz.
Yeah, but it's still a racing incident on another driver,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I think we all agree that that's pretty harsh then. Yeah.
Poor
So should we get
Carlos.
on to poor Carlos, on to Red Bull dominating once again. Um, Max just rapid. It didn't even feel like he'd had a particularly exceptional race. He was solid, and he still breezed the field.
Yeah, I'm
Really.
one of his biggest critics, even though I like him. He had a shit race. Both
Yeah.
restarts, he got beat by the Mercedes. He went
Yeah.
off on the final corner that one time. He
Yeah.
had a shit race, but he still won because the Red Bull's so good.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously from the start he got absolutely blitzed, and then
Twice.
on turn three he broke so early. I
I
don't know
felt
why he did that.
that because he knew that he could, because the car's so quick, he didn't want to take a risk, didn't he? Get what happened to Leclerc happened to him. As long as he's in the race, he'll win it. That's what he thinks, I reckon.
So say that again. So I think your audio cut out for me.
Well, I think he broke early because he didn't want contact, and as long as he's in the race, he'll win the race as it stands at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
It's just me,
Which is
or like
crazy.
there's a difference between Max from last year and Max from this year. Is when he's like he's starting slow. Like
I feel like
getting off the grid, getting like starting off, he's so slower than like the people around him.
I feel like the jeopardy isn't that he doesn't need a good start because he can make it back. But like on the final restart, he did get one, didn't he, against Hamilton because he needed to.
Mm.
I just feel like
But I feel like,
he's been lacking in that department this season.
yeah,
He's just starting off. But
Well, I've
maybe
not
yeah.
particularly noticed it because it doesn't almost doesn't really matter
no, it doesn't
for him.
matter. But like, I mean, I
Yeah.
just like, I don't know.
That was one of his like in 2021. That was one of his best things, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
used to fucking fly
Yeah.
off the line and
that's what I mean.
dive on
But
Hamilton.
this season, he seems to be a bit maybe because he was in second place all the time, like in 2021, but not all
Yeah,
the time, but most of the time. So we just needed a better start. But
yeah. I
I
feel
don't
like his
know.
mentality's changed as well as like I can afford to not be in the lead in turn one because I've got such a good car.
Mm.
Which is mental. Like Max Verstappen, probably one of the most arrogant drivers ever, really, in terms of his racecraft. Arguably one of the most arrogant drivers ever. To think, actually, I guess it goes along nicely with it. Actually, I don't even need to be in front right now because I'll just get him eventually. And I think it epitomised it for me when he overtook Hamilton. Obviously, in the DRS zone before turn 9, he just absolutely breezed past him. Hamilton defended the inside, and by the time they got to the corner, Verstappen was already a car length ahead of him. It was ridiculous. It wasn't
The
even a
worst,
competition.
the well, not the worst. When he overtook him, and then he got out the final section. He was already 2 seconds in front of him.
Oh,
That's what I mean about he can just afford to not have a
yeah.
good start.
Do you reckon Christian Horner's had a word with them and said, you don't need to take risks because the car is just rapid and like everyone else is going to
Yeah,
battle it out. You can just fly.
Yeah, but the car's got
Yeah.
problems as well, though.
yeah.
What?
It's not perfect.
Well,
Like
Checo
Perez,
had some sort
he's
of
always moaning.
issue.
Yeah, he's always
Yeah,
moaning.
he said there was a problem, didn't there? Whether that's just him compensating for being shit, or there was actually an issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like when was it in qualifying when he just was out?
Well,
He
in
just
his
said
entire FP3, he had an
we
issue
need to
apparently
fix
where he
it.
couldn't brake, and
Yeah.
then he had the same thing in qualifying apparently.
And he said that because he did look up on the second last corner
So did
with a
Max though
few
as
laps
well.
to go.
Yeah, Max did that as well.
Max did that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, Max ended up going over the grass, and I think he said, did he say on the radio? He kept on looking up at that corner or something like that. I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
wording, but I mean, we're saying they've got issues. The
Doesn't
car
look
is,
like it though, does it?
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't
But I
look
think
like it.
Horner said last year, didn't he? I remember him when they DNF the first two of the first three. He said, "I'd rather try and make a fast car reliable than make a slow car fast." So I'm
Yeah.
sure they can. I'm sure they'll be able to
Mm.
work around it.
Well, boys,
Do we think?
I want to, you go
Sorry, you
first.
go first. You go first. I was
I'll
going to
say,
say. I was going to say, if Red Bull don't develop their car at all for the rest of the season, will they still be the fastest car by the end of it?
No,
No,
oh,
that current car though.
no.
No, no.
Look how much Mercedes caught up last year compared to where they were.
Yeah, but do you reckon they're still going to be as fast as that Red Bull?
There was a
That
bigger
Red
gap
Bull,
between the start of 2022 than there is this year with
right?
Mercedes and Red Bull. So if Red Bull didn't develop, Mercedes would catch them, as would
no,
Aston
Okay.
Martin.
no, I don't think you do. I think you need to upgrade the car. If all the teams around you are upgrading it, you need to upgrade it because
If you're not going forwards, you're going backwards, aren't you?
yeah,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
Mercedes will just take it. Or even
I'm yet
Aston
to be
Martin, you know what I
convinced, to
mean?
be honest.
You can't forget about
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
true, true, true. What were you going to say then, Mike?
After the race, these pictures and videos going around of Verstappen moving a bit forward in his good spot.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a picture of his car wheels on the line. And everyone
yeah,
was like, give him a penalty now. But realistically, it's fine.
He's on the line. He's
It's
on the line.
yeah. On the line isn't
It's
over it. It's at the end of the day.
he's
It
not
does look
crossed.
weird though. It does look
It
weird.
does,
yeah,
but
because he stops
people
and
just
drives
find
forward a bit. I'm like,
people are just desperate for a different winner, aren't they? Obviously, it would have been Lewis's first win since 2021 if he won the race.
Mm.
When do you think we're
Um,
going to get a different winner then? That's not a Red Bull driver. How long is it going to take?
Silverstone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what
what
do you
round is that?
reckon
Round 10?
Hamilton?
Is that round 10?
I'll have a look now.
So
Do you
if
reckon
that's
Hamilton's going to take out Verstappen again?
Oh, Miami, maybe,
yeah,
I can see a
Alonso
cheeky little.
Alonso in Miami, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
No, I can see a cheeky little
Ooh.
Ocon.
Mate, you need to hop off the Ocon hype train, mate. I'm sorry.
No, I can't. I
We
can't.
need to give up the Ocon hype train. Alpine is so. I think we're in year like 7 of Alpine promising they'll move to the front and still being in the midfield.
Hmm.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? Back to the Renault days where they
But
were
then
actually
again, Joe,
competing.
that
Yeah.
TikTok, the TikTok where we said, "Oh, Hamilton's replacement."
Yeah.
Quite a few people said Ocon.
He's got the links, hasn't he,
Ah,
to the Mercedes team?
yeah, he's been there. He's been the reserve driver before, hasn't
Yeah, and
Blame the
he's
Couple of
team, not the
seasons ago.
driver. That's what I
Mm.
say.
no, it's got to be Leclerc. Get him in, free him from Ferrari's shackles. He needs a
No,
competent workforce.
I'm saying Norris. Get Norris in, and that actually takes me. It's not a fantastic segue, but we'll go to our newest segment, overtake of the week. So with the overtake of the week, I've brought together 4 overtakes that took place in the race, and in the end, we're going to have Matty and Dan are going to vote, and then I guess that means I will get the decider unless you two agree. So our first overtake is Russell on Verstappen at the first turn on lap 1. I think it's a big overtake because it was for the lead. That's my sort of main thing, and it was a nice overtake as well. To be fair, obviously, Max wasn't a great start, but either way, still had to do it. Number 2 is Sergio Perez on Esteban Ocon on I think it was lap 19 or lap 18 on turn 9, which obviously is a DRS straight, but obviously most of the time people go around the outside. But on that lap, he went on the inside, and everyone was saying that was a very brave move, which I suppose it was because the easier way is to go on the outside, but he took the inside and made it stick. That was a very nice move. Move number 3, Carlos Sainz on Pierre Gasly on lap 25 at turn 3, which is where he took a late switch to the inside after having sent Gasly to defend the outside. And he saw the space on the inside by the apex, and he broke late and went ahead, which I thought was a fantastic move. And I think the commentators would agree with me. And then my 4th one is Lando Norris on Nico Hulkenberg on lap 52, turn 12, where he switched back and got the pedal down early, taking the place, arguably, possibly in a slower car than the Haas. Thoughts, boys?
Uh,
Yeah, I think
uh,
George Russell one's a bit too easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
he beat my line, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think for me, Sainz, because he dummied him, didn't he? He flew him down,
Yeah.
sent him one way, went the other, and turn three is a hard place to overtake anyway. Because he was stuck.
Yeah.
He was stuck behind Gasly for ages. He couldn't get past him, so he thought, "Sod this, I'm just going to dive bomb him." And he made it
Fair
stick.
enough.
So that's mine.
I'm gonna say
That's all
Perez.
right.
He made
Perez on Ocon.
he was on a journey from the back of the grid, making his way up, and
Okay.
he made some good overtakes on the way. So I'm going Perez
Wait,
just for
hold
that
on.
journey.
I thought Ocon was your boy.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah,
sometimes
that's why it is because you have to be so good to overtake Ocon.
yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. But yeah, I'm
Well,
going.
my vote. So you're going with Perez on Ocon.
Hmm.
Okay, I think my vote would have been on Norris and Hulkenberg just because I thought it was dramatic. It was towards the end of the race, and I love Norris, and it's nice to see the McLaren picking up the pace. But for the sake of competition, I'm going to choose Carlos Sainz on
Oh, it's
Pierre
1-1.
Gasly,
We're 1-1, Dan.
turn three.
Last time you picked
Um,
me, now you picked
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah, so I'm going to have to go down on this one. I think the overtake was fantastic, and it was really cool how he fully said it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, Twitter, all the socials. Yeah, thank you very much for watching.